Don't mind me, guys. I'm just holding up my jumbo fork and spoon trying to get the perfect thumbnail for this video. Anyway, welcome to Flatware Friday. We're going to talk more about these later, but today what I thought we would do for Flatware Friday is talk about something that I'd like to call items that are flatware adjacent. So items that are not necessarily flatware in themselves, but are connected in some way to flatware, silverware, cutlery, whatever it is that you like to call it. So we are gonna switch over to the computer real quick, and we're just gonna take a look at some things. These are, again, this is not a serious deep dive research video like we do sometimes. This is kind of just some stuff to keep your eye out for, to think about, to do more research on yourselves. I'm not going deeply into, sell-through rate, how many are listed versus how many are sold, that kind of thing. This is just something to just kind of have a little bit of fun and keep some things on your radar that you might not have thought about before, okay? So let's start out. We're going to talk about some flatware storage to begin with, and we're going to take a look at starting off with like flatware boxes, flatware chests. So let's see what we can find out. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to start off with some flatware chests, some storage. A lot of times you'll see on eBay when you're looking at results, sometimes the high prices that you see are because the flatware is also included. It's flatware plus the storage chest. That's up to you. A lot of times you can find flatware, especially silver-plated flatware at estate sales or things like that, and they're in a chest like this. And so you'll have to determine the value of the flatware, whether it's worth including the chest. Do you think people will want it for storage, or would it be better to separate them out? A lot of times I find flatware in a chest that's like totally beat up, and I just take the flatware out and I sell it, break it up and sell it in smaller chunks anyway. But I was just taking a look at what kinds of chests might be worth the time and the effort to box them up. And as we look through here, we have some that look like Christoffel, because one of those names we've come across before. This one is a 5-drawer storage chest, sold for $736. There's this nice Reed & Barton 2-drawer, $559. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. We have this 1940 vintage Nakins. I don't know if there's something in there. Here's a footed flatware storage chest. That's kind of interesting. Again, Reed & Barton Provincial, anti-tarnish, $335. We have some that look a little more mid-century. This one's Lenox. Another Reed & Barton, some more Christoffel. Here's a kind of a mid-century blonde wood colored one for $200. Now, one of the things I saw when I was looking at flatware boxes earlier was that there are some where they advertise the type of cloth, the anti-tarnish cloth that is inside. And one of the names that had come up was, I think, Pacific silver cloth, as being like the lining in some of the ones that we're selling. Here's one, Toll Sterling Flatware Chest, Pacific Silver Cloth, $179.97, but with free shipping. And shipping won't be super simple. You want to protect these really well. So that's something that you have to keep in mind if that's something that you want to attack in your process. Now this one is fun, this $149 one. It's an older flatware caddy, and it might come up again in our searches. I came across it a few times as I was doing my research, but just in case we don't see it again, that one is a really cool one. A style to keep an eye out for as well. Okay, so looking at Pacific cloth, I just kind of did a quick search for Pacific silver cloth on eBay. And when you're doing your research, I was having a hard time. It's eBay, right? So their search results are kind of driving me nuts lately. So I was changing categories. I was changing like things down to Flatware storage as the category up here. I was changing the word flatware to silverware and getting, narrowing down some better results. So just play around with your search terms as well, because the eBay results are kind of bugging me out, right? If I put flatware for certain things, it would give me all sorts of other things that had nothing to do with flatware. So sometimes you have to come over here to like the category and try to narrow it down a little bit as you're doing your research. So the Pacific silver cloth, as you can see, there's one where it's lined in that, but they also made these like little pouches that people could keep their flatware in, kind of like a flatware roll. And they're not huge money. I just, you might see them. Here's 4 of them. Like, maybe just don't throw them away. I don't know. They're, they might have a little bit of value in and of itself. Okay. So sometimes the flatware comes in these things, and then you can just see whether it's worth listing. A Tiffany and Company one, very interesting, was made out of Pacific silver cloth. That sold for $34. Okay, next up that we're going to take a look at, and hopefully my internet is not going to bug out on me again today. Okay, so then I looked up silverware roll. Again, I was trying to get the results that I'm looking for. So here we go again, another, not huge money with these anti-tarnish bags. But if you have a lot of them, I don't know. It's up to you whether that's something that you want to save from the landfill or not. This particular one, green and yellow, sold for $15 by itself. So, and then here's some cute embroidered ones. I wanted to talk about those because, those are something that I have sold in the past. I'll show you a sold listing in a minute. But these are super cute. A lot of times they have like the anthropomorphic flatware on it. They might have little hearts, but they were hand embroidered. I've even seen the patterns for making these yourself. And anyway, the prices are, kind of average, but just kind of a fun, if you're into vintage, it's kind of a fun little thing to keep an eye out for as well. These little pouches or things people would keep their flatware in, but it was, embroidered. So here's a picture of the little set that I sold. They were made out of linen, I believe, and I got $30. I think it was back when it was a while back on Etsy, and I was doing free shipping. And so, I did free shipping on a lot of things because Etsy was really pushing that. But this was super cute. They were not super heavy or anything like that, but just kind of just a fun thing. Because I love flatware so much, I was happy when I came across these. I'm going to try something to speed up the computer a bit, so hold on one second. Okay, so I think part of the problem is our weather here in the Flathead Valley. We get, especially in December, this happened last year, we get what are called inversions, and the fog just kind of rolls in. It's very frustrating because the weather report says it's sunny, but we don't see the sun. It just looks like a completely cloudy day. But I just think it messes kind of with my internet to a degree. So, okay, hopefully it passes soon. Let's see what else we have. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's see what else we have for flatware adjacent items. So I started off with talking about flatware trays. Okay, and specifically when we're talking about flatware storage or flatware trays, Rubbermaid is a big name that usually comes up. So it's kind of the most common. There's all sorts of different colors. Again, we're not going to end up with huge amounts of money unless you can find something new old stock. These are cute little silverware caddies that still have their stickers. But, a lot of these in the retro colors are kind of what people are looking for why the trash cans are showing up in this. I have no idea. Let me see. I think, no, I'm in all categories. People keep their flatware in their garbage can, I guess. Anyway, so like the kind of almond, the plain ones, a little bit lower of the price. The ones I feel like I've done the best with are like a pink, or there's the pink that's kind of like the 80s pink. I have sold some even older, like 1940s flatware trays. They're not Rubbermaid. We'll take a look in a second, but some other different kind of brands. But for Rubbermaid, a lot of those 80s or the avocado green or like an aqua blue does really well because people have like those turquoise kitchens, you know, that they do accessorize with turquoise. So I kind of stick with some of those colors. When I've sold these, they're anywhere in that $15 to like $20, $25 range, especially depending on condition and things like that. So again, you're not making huge amounts of money, but you never know. Okay, so then I took the word Rubbermaid out to see what it would give me, and I had to narrow it down to, as you can see, flatware storage. So Rubbermaid comes up a lot, but like this one is by New Dell, and it's pink, so a retro pink kitchen people look for. Here's that wooden caddy again that we talked about. The one I sold that was like from the 40s was like a pale yellow, and I think I got $20 for it, and the brand was Hollywood. It was a vintage plastic company. Then if we just kind of look for the word, I think this one is Flatware Caddy. This kind of gives us some other things that are maybe not vintage, not row. So again, I have some like sets of flatware that come in a caddy, and then some non-flatware stuff at all, Reed and Barton. But then this one, look at this one, Nora Fleming. Do you guys remember Nora Fleming from one of my dinnerware videos? I can probably link it at the end of this video. But Nora Fleming, it's recent, it's not vintage. So this is a utensil caddy, and if Nora Fleming's thing is she has these little like decorations that you can swap out in her like white ceramic pieces. So she might have a tray or a serving tray or something, and it's got this little hole, and you can, you know, people collect the little charms, and you can swap it out, either holiday or just football or, you know, something like that. And then the charms are collectible themselves as well. So apparently the flatware utensil caddy, $224, $225 for that one. The Lenox Butterfly Meadow, you know, that caddy looks really familiar. I meant to look it up, but I do believe I have sold that tray before, but not with the flatware. Okay, I don't know what Bolt-A-Light organizer, I don't know what that is. There's that wooden caddy again. So yeah, we're gonna see it a bunch of times. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's not flatware related, again, because we love eBay. And then we have this Acanthus Leaf GG collection. I'm not sure who that maker is, but $89.99 for that flatware caddy. Southern Living at Home, they have like a lucite one. Anyway, so just, you know, when you're seeing it, just find out a brand, look it up. Just don't like discount it just because, oh, that's just like a box that holds flatware. It could be worth something. Okay, next up I use the search terms vintage buffet silverware because you see these a lot more often with like silver plated flatware, kind of fancier dinners, and it's a buffet server in the sense. You may even have seen these at the thrift store and not known what they were, or at an antique store, because, you know, a lot of times people just don't recognize what their function is. So you would put like spoons or something, just stack some spoons in there, and that people can take. It's just kind of a fancier way to display flatware at a buffet. Princess House, these are kind of common, not big money on those. So you can see MSR Buffet Caddies Porcelain Vintage for $25. Then there's some silver plated ones. We see these, I see these fairly often. I don't know that I would pick those up. Maybe new in the package, but as you can see, like this box of them, it just sold for $15. But it's just something to keep an eye out for if you happen to see it. Here's an Oneida silver plate, silverware caddy, like tray kind of thing. Here's some more, kind of that style, where it's just the bowl of the spoon that goes into the caddy. The Princess House ones are like that too. I have come across the Princess House ones at like thrift stores or whatever, and I Google lensed them and I went, oh, that's what this is for. Here's some more of those knife, spoon, fork, caddy type things. Again, not huge, big money on those, but it'll help you recognize what it is when you see them. Kind of a more famous one of these flatware spoon holders is Noritake. You see a lot with the lusterware and the hand painted versions of it. I think I had to, here's a few more, just painted, decorated in different colors. But I have come across, I've seen some of these fairly often at the thrift store. A lot of times they're priced up because they do look pretty fancy. They just don't sell for like a big money. So that ends up being what happens. Now here's a fun one that you may come across. I've sold some knife rest sets in like crystal, kind of like this one. I've sold those before. But sometimes what you can find are like little sets of figural ones. So we've got some horses sold for $47.22, $40 for these dachshund ones. There's always lead crystal ones that people collect. WMF, $140 for these Art Deco animal knife rests. Definitely something to keep an eye out for if you see anything in this particular shape. We've got the Majolica, these ducks made in France, some Louis Vuitton. Oh no, it's maybe just on a Louis Vuitton thing, whatever. Anyway, you can also use chopstick rests maybe as a keyword as well. Here's some eggplants. Here's some more like porcelain ones. So just kind of some, you might see a box of these little triangle shaped crystal things and not realize what they are, and those are knife rests. So it's just something at a place setting to put your knife down so that you don't have to put your dirty knife back down on the table. Pretty cool. Okay, then looking over, here's another kind of old-fashioned, something that you might not recognize or know when you see it. Don't think that I have ever found one, or if I did, I didn't quite realize what it was. But there's something back in the day called a spooner, and it kind of is just like an open, kind of looks like a vase or a cup. And it was just something to put spoons in on the table. Now, of course, uranium glass, any glass that is glowing is going to sell pretty well right now. As you can see, the word celery is also here. So I think there is a technical difference between like a spooner and a celery vase. Like a celery vase is supposed to be a little bit taller because a full celery stick would be able to be served in it. Spooners would be just a little bit shorter, but a lot of them are glass. Of course, we get some rain spooner Hawaiian shirts in here, but a lot of them are, the glass collectors probably know more about this than I do, but just a name that kind of popped in my head when I was doing this. And I did find this little blog post, Spooners and Spoon Holders Gone the Way of the Dodo Bird, right? So I guess they had done an article here. Let's see what the Historic Foodies blog is what it's called. So she had done a post on celery vases. And again, she says that same thing. Celery vases are tall enough to hold celery stalks. Spooners were shorter so that the handles of the spoons are above the rim and that you can easily grab one. They do kind of look like handled sugar bowls, right? But they don't have that rim that the lid would fit in. Here's a picture of them being used. So a lot of these will be antique. It says knives and forks were usually kept in drawers while spoons were kept in spooners on the table. They were made of cut glass, silver, white metal, Britannia-ware, glass ones, blah, 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 different colors. Anyway, so just kind of fun stuff. You know me and my nerding out on the vintage things, especially stuff that, you know, people don't use so much anymore, but still do collect. Then let's just talk about, back to where we started, as we started this video, some wall decor that is fork and spoon themed. Now you might have, you know, we might even see some of these in the solds, but some of you may remember, you know, parents' kitchens or your kitchens in the 60s, 70s, or the big tiki style forks and spoons that people would decorate with. And so I just looked up fork spoon wall decor. You know, you can go into a different search on that, maybe just a fork or just a spoon. But Curtis Jer, you know, who is definitely a name to know if you want to look for metalware that hangs on your wall or sculptures, things like that, that's for pretty good money. Curtis Jer did this version. They're 47 inches long. And they, you know, as you can see, $400, $275, huge, like sculptures, basically, that would hang on the wall. We've got this ceramic set with mushrooms sold for $120. Of course, mushrooms are super hot at the moment. These are aluminum by Sexton. Those sold for $100. Very vintage looking. There's some newer ones as well, just kind of hanging decorations. Here's some of those carved wooden ones that people decorate with. Here's some more of the wood ones, kind of very folk art looking ones. These are green. I've had like this middle piece before in yellow. I don't know that we ended up selling it or not. Let's see. Cast aluminum, $47. And then if we go down a little further, here is the set I have. I thrifted mine, but they are from Hobby Lobby. So they're not like, they sold theirs for $30. I am just going to keep mine, and they will probably, I love the color, so they're probably just going to end up in my kitchen, dining room area, along with some other stuff, but kind of as an homage to my love of flatware. Anyway, so you get the idea. Just kind of fun stuff to keep an eye out for. I've seen flatware clocks. I've seen all sorts of different things that people have come up with. So let's take a look. Our last tab for the day is something that combines my love of flatware with my love of vintage jewelry. And I just did a quick search for spoon ring. Now, people today, artisans, for years have made jewelry out of flatware. I'm just searching a spoon ring. I was at like a little craft fair and I bought, I think, a necklace made out of a spoon. But people make, the lady who worked at the thrift store, she had a ring, I think, made out of a fork. So there, you know, people will take flatware and make all sorts of things with it, all sorts of different kinds of jewelry. If you want to dive into that rabbit hole yourself, but it's collectible. You know, people do like spoon rings. I've seen people on Instagram who are artists who do make custom pieces for clients. So we talked about souvenir rings sometimes, and I think he was making a ring out of a souvenir spoon that, like, it was for a woman whose husband had died, and they always kind of used their little souvenir spoons, and that was the one he always used. And so she was having it turned into a ring, you know, as kind of a little memento, right? So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes if something is, you know, a newer artisan piece. You know, obviously the better the quality, you know, the higher the price. And then there's some pieces that, like this one is Avon, and it's just made to look like a spoon ring. And then there's also ones that were cast. They weren't made from an actual spoon, but maybe the company just did a cast metal one that matched the pattern that they sell, you know, or that were popular that people were buying. So there's, you know, there's a whole, you know, movement about people who are really interested in upcycling and recycling and things like that would rather have an artisan one made out of the real flatware, and other people just kind of like the look of it, and maybe the pattern has some kind of meaning for them. So anyway, okay, I'm just gonna end our video there. Hey everybody, okay, so sorry about that abrupt ending. It wasn't supposed to end like that, and I actually did record a little bit longer, but then it disappeared. So I just wanted to say thanks for watching, as usual, and hopefully you enjoyed this Flatware Friday. Let me know in the comments down below if there was something new for you that you learned from this. I personally learned about the Curtis Jerr fork and spoon. It was not something I was on my radar before. And then if there's something that is flatware adjacent that you thought of that I didn't touch on, go ahead and leave a comment down below so we can all learn about that as well. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will be back with something else for you very shortly.